The Cybercrime Investigation and Coordinating Center, or CICC, sounded the alarm on the rising number of scam phone calls. In a report by anti-scam app, Who's Call? While text scams remain a top problem, the number of cases recorded during the first quarter of 2025 is now considerably lower, at around 648,000 compared to the 1.14 million scam messages recorded during the same period last year. Scam calls, on the other hand, rose by more than 200% from 108,157 during the first quarter of 2024 to more than 351,000 during the same period this year. So now let's go to the details of this story with Undersecretary Alexander Ramos. He's the Executive Director of the Cybercrime Investigation and Coordinating Center, or the CICC. Good evening and welcome to the big story, Usec. First of all,
hi, good evening, Seth.
To what do you attribute the rise in scam calls?
Actually, it's a shift, no? Most of the time, we receive scam text messaging. Now that we are able to curb the rise of messaging system, the use of the messaging system, the scammers have to devise a way to find new targets by going audio. So the method right now, or the MO, the modus operandi, is hard calls being done by the scammers using voice calls, either directly from the cell phone or from the social media platforms. So it's just a shift, but the dramatic decrease in the text scam is something that very notable.
Usec, what is the nature of these scam calls? Are they through the regular network calls or is it through social media? Kasi meron naman po tayong SIM registration law. So can't these numbers be traced?
Well, if they will use the regular cell phone calls, okay, they can be traced, no? Of course, the challenge here, even if it's prepaid, the receiver of the call will not be able to see the name of the person calling. All they will see is numbers, no? That's why most of the calls are being done using the social media platforms where voice calls are also allowed, and they can hide behind the masking their identity in the social media platforms.
And did it prove, Usec, na mas successful yung mga scammers by using phone calls instead of messages or text messages?
Well, not necessarily, because based on the reports that we have been receiving, some of the complainants or informants that we have, they say that most of the callers that they are receiving have a foreign tone. So there's a big language gap there. That's why if you would look at the figures, it's lower than the number of the text scams that we had been receiving prior to this. So there is a communication disconnect there. But for those successful, sometimes they misrepresent themselves as bank representatives. That's where the bulk of the complaints now, wherein the dialogue or the script being mentioned during these voice calls are those patterned after actual bank scripts. So the idea is to be able to convince the receiver of the call to give up the code or the OTP for them to gain access to your bank accounts.
Okay, so what advice would you give to our kababayans para hindi po sila mabiktima? It's strange that out of the blue, someone's calling you on your Facebook Messenger or Viber. Hindi ho ba dapat the wise thing to do is do not answer calls you don't recognize?
Precisely. In fact, the funny part, if they will say this X bank and you don't even have an account in that bank, no need to entertain. They might as well just drop the call immediately. Never entertain unsolicited calls, especially from banks, because banks don't do this. Because if you have a problem in your account, you're being asked to go to your nearest account officer in the bank premises itself. They
right.
don't do actual hard calls or text messaging asking for personal details.
That's right. Actually, if you think about it, normally you're the one, as a client, you're the one calling the hotline. The bank won't even
Correct.
know that there's something wrong. But I wanted to ask if we've found some sort of source. Are these like small-time fraudsters just trying to make a quick buck? Or could this be like a larger, more organized, kind of like syndicated thing?
As far as we're concerned, it's still organized crime because of the consistency and the volume that we see in particular areas. Some of the callers, we try to come up with the demographics, and you would see that there's a targeted area. So it would sound like it's a very organized crime.
Well, Usec, please tell us about this app that you're developing to verify the legitimacy of photos or videos on social media.
One of our private partners, Who's Call, is offering a free use of their how would you say cyber online platform to protect the user using cell phones. You see, they have upgraded the capability to detect fake or reportedly scam numbers or websites or messages as the scripts based on the database that they receive. So they are offering this for free for all users of the Who's Call application.
Okay, and I guess last question from me, Usec. I was just wondering, because we spoke to the ICT ASEC, Aboy Paraiso, last week. I asked him his position about, amendments to the SIM registration law. Do you think we could further improve on this existing law to just help curb this? Because yun nga, na-drop dun sa original plan, no, yung pagre-register or needing a registered SIM card to open a social media account, which is being done in the West.
Yeah, definitely. We saw several gaps that needs to be improved, no? Such as the number of prepaid numbers that one person can register. That's one big factor. The second one, of course, when they use the OTP, it has to be changed already as a method for real-time authentication. There has to be an improvement on this. And there are other measures that we're looking into, such as the access to this information if it is stolen or stolen identity or not. Because there are a lot of fake or stolen identity in the area.
All right, we thank you so much for your time, Usec Alexander Ramos of the CICC.